Hi everyone, I continue on the lesson. So here we want to find, so we are doing word problems, and here we want to find three consecutive integers whose summation is 24. So you read the question, you know you are looking for numbers, and so it says three consecutive integers and the summation is 24. So at the beginning, if you don't pay attention, so you would say you are looking for three numbers, and so you want x plus y plus z, okay, plus z to be 24, and then you would say, okay, I have just one equation and I have three unknowns, and how can I find them? Okay, so in this case I have to just say I cannot find them because I just have one equation. So you have to read the question carefully. It says three consecutive integers, means they follow each other and they are integers. Okay, so of course I have to say integers, otherwise I cannot say they follow each other, because in real number set, so between two numbers, between any two numbers in real number set, there are infinity numbers. Okay, so but here they are integers, so I can say, yes, I can make it easier and say, so x, so let's define x to be number one, first number. So let's define x plus 1 to be second number, and then x plus 2 to be third number. Okay, so now it's much easier because I can say now it's x plus 1 plus x plus 2, it is 3x plus 3, and that's 24. Okay, and then the 3x is 21 and x is 7. So 7 and 8, oops, and 8 and 9 are three numbers that, or whose summation is 24. And I can check 7 plus 8, 15 plus 9 is 24. Yes, that's right. Okay, so these are the numbers that I am looking for. Okay, so here, um, no, it says steps to solving difficult word problems. I don't really like it when I say simple and difficult, because then just when I say difficult, a student, they really feel it must be difficult, and it is difficult and they cannot handle it, and that's not correct. So you have to really do the same thing for all of them. So you have to study the problem, means you have to read the problem and understand what is going on. So check for any familiar, any unfamiliar words when you don't know, so you can check for that. Oh, what does this mean? Okay, so maybe you have to make a diagram, so maybe you have to visualize in your head, so you have to think about it. Okay, so estimate the answer. I will talk about it later, so more for mixture problems. So you have to say my answer must be this and this. Like for example, this question that we did right now, I said I'm looking for integers. So for example, I know I'm not finding 7.5. So if I find 7.5 as my answer instead of 7, then I say, oh, that's wrong. I cannot have 7.5 and 8.5 and 9.5 because it must be integer. So I think about these things. So here and just make some assumptions. So then you can identify your variables. Let's x to b, or let's define x to b. So these things, then you have to translate, write two equations, two unknowns, you have to do that, and then solve them. From here is math. You just solve them and then just check your answer, and then at the end you have to write a conclusion sentence. Okay, so that's it. So I always say these things for easy, for difficult. So, and I really don't like so to say easy, difficult, because whatever question we can handle if we think, if we spend time on it. Okay, so here, so find three consecutive even integers. Okay, it's even, which is whose summation is 42. So okay, so here I have to Again, I have to read the question. Okay, yes, yes, I am looking for integers. I am looking for even integers. So if I find 7, then it's wrong because it must be even. Okay, so I have to define. So I can say let x be first number, and let x plus 2 be second number. Why x plus 2? Because it says even number. Okay, and they are consecutive, means they follow each other. So 2 and 4 and 6, for example, so they go 2 by 2, so I need to add plus 2. Okay, so and let x plus 4 be third number. Okay, and then I can say, okay, x plus 2 plus x plus 4 is 42, and 3x plus 6 is 42, and therefore 3x is 36. Yes, 36, and x is 12. Yes. Is it integer? Yes. Is it like even? Yes, it is. Okay, so far so good. Now I can check it. So 12 plus 14 plus 16. What is the answer? Yes, it's 42. Oh, perfect. I can write my answer here. So the numbers are 12, 14, 16. Okay. So now I can continue to the next question. So the summation of two numbers is 90 and the difference is 18. Find the numbers. Okay, so first I read the question and understand it's number problem. Then I can just define my variable. So here let x be one number, or number 1, for example, and let y be the second number, number 2. Okay, so why I use x and y? Because I don't know any more information about them. It says two number and it didn't say two numbers are the same. Okay, so I have to use x and y. Maybe at the end I see x equal y, but in this question for sure no, because the difference is 18. But I mean, still I don't know, I don't have any information, so I have to call them x and y. Okay, so I read the question, I understand the type. Okay, so now I define my variable. Now I write two equations, two unknown. Okay, so the summation is 90, the difference is 18, and now I want to solve it. So from now on, it's elimination, substitution. I go by elimination, I add them. Okay, I add them. So I have 2x equal 108, and x is 54, and y is 36. Okay, so I can see 54 plus 36 is 90. And I can see 54 minus 36 is 18. Perfect. Okay, so I can see left side equal right side. Okay, and then I can write my sentence. Okay, those numbers are, okay, these numbers whose sum is 90 and the difference between them is 18, or 54 and 36. Okay, so see, this is very informative. I know what's going on in the question. That's good. The sentence is good. Okay, so when I read the sentence, for example, even in future, let's say after a while, okay, so I know what was going on in the question, and it's always you who go back to your reports, for example, lab report, and then you ask yourself, what was the question? What did I do here? Okay, when you have good explanation, then you can follow it and you can use your material for future. Okay, so here another thing here. So in a group of 90 people, so composed of a men, women, just of men, women, and children. So there are just, so we have three groups of people. So total that we have 90 people, and then there are 3 times as many children as men, and twice as many women as men. And how many are there of each? Okay, so here I have to say, okay, so again, I read the question, I understand the type is number, but I don't do, for example, I don't do X, Y, Z, because then it's harder for me. Okay, so then I have to just just handle with more problems. So I just try to make it easy for myself. Okay, so let's say, so for example, X is men. Okay, so let X be number of men. Again, I say, when you define, if you say X equal men, I reduce mark because that doesn't make any sense. Number of men, or how much money, or for example, a car price. But if you say X is car 1 and Y is car 2, I say, what's going on here? What do you mean? Okay, so the price, the number of cars, the number of people, the number of men. Okay, so here the number of men, and let, so how about children? 3x be number of children, and let 2x be number of women. Okay, and hopefully each man so just comes with maybe wife and friends of wife, not two wives. Okay, so I'm just kidding. So here so here is like that. Okay, so and then when you add, so it's like x plus 2x plus 3x, it's 90. Okay, so it is like 6x is 90, and then x is 15 because it's 90 divided by 6. I can do step by step. Okay, so 15. Okay, so then we can say number of men, or maybe I can type it. I know my handwriting is awful. So here, so the number of men, so the number of men is 15. The children, the children, the children, the children are 45, and there are 30 women, maybe wife and friend. Okay, so then also you have to check if, okay, if 15 plus 45, you have to check your answer. Okay, yes, 15 plus 45 plus 30, yes, it is 90. Okay, so good. So I check my answer. Okay, I check my answer, I write a sentence, and that's good. I can continue to the next question. Okay, the difference between two numbers is 12, and the larger is to the smaller is like 11 to 7. So this is like a ratio. Okay, so I read the question, I understand the type. Now it's number problem. Now I have to so define. So here I can say, okay, so let x be a smaller number, let y be larger number. Okay, remember here you have larger and smaller, you have to mention that. Okay, so that's that here. Okay, so the difference between two numbers, of course it's larger minus smaller, because otherwise it would be negative. Okay, so it's y minus x is 12, and then the larger to the smaller is like 11 over 7. Okay, so it is y minus x equal 12, and then it is 7y minus 11x is 0. Okay, so now I can, okay, so now I can go maybe by substitution. Okay, so y is x plus 12, and then I can substitute here. So I can substitute here. So I have 7 multiple x plus 12 minus 11x equals 0. Then it is 7x plus 84. Am I right? Yes. Minus 11x equals 0, and then you have 84 equal 4x step by step, Nilu. So minus 4x equals 0. And then it is 4x equal 84. And then x is 21. Oops. Okay. So 21. So now I can find y as well. Okay. So y is 21 plus 12, which is 33. And now I can check. Okay, so 33 minus 21 is 12. Yes. 33 divided by 21 is 3 multiple 11, 3 multiple 7. This and this cancel. Yes. Okay, so yes, yes, that's the thing. So yes, it is left side equal right side. Okay, so perfect. I found the numbers. So I can say numbers, numbers that satisfy this question condition are 21 and 33. Okay, yeah. So how about here, the next question? Okay, so okay, a taxi charges an initial flat fee, then a fee for each kilometer traveled. Okay, so a taxi charges initial flat fee and a fee for kilometer. Luca took a taxi 75 kilometer that cost this much. Joe 45 kilometer that cost this much. What did the taxi charge as the flat rate? Okay, so the flat fee, and how many per kilometer? How much dollar? Okay, per kilometer. Okay, so we assume, so we have so with the same taxi, of course. Okay, so how do you write this here? Okay, you read the question, understand the type. At the end, when you read the sentence at the end, it says, what did the taxi charge as the flat fee and as per kilometer? The last sentence is, okay, that is asking you what or how much or how many. So it gives you the clue to define your variable. So far it wasn't that hard. So we were looking for numbers. But from now we are looking for more things, like for example, yes, of course numbers, but we have unit for them. And so here, so it's dollar. Yes, I know. But how do I know? How do I know it's dollar? How much and what thing? So I read the question, I understand the type. That's value question. That's money problem. And money is involved. And also the last sentences. Okay, so the last sentence, or just the last sentences that I have in the question, it give me clue for me to write my to define my variable. Okay, so I can say let x be flat fee of the taxi, let y be per kilometer of the taxi when we use the taxi. Okay, so I read the question, I understand it's value problem, money is involved, then I want to define my variable. Usually my variables are coming in the last sentences because it's saying how many, how much, what. So I can read those and I can define my variable. Now I write my equations. Okay, so when you get the taxi, or when Luca or Joe did, at the beginning they pay something. That's a flat fee. Okay, so I can say X. That's at the beginning. When you just get in. Okay, so it's when they start to write. Okay, so then they pay per kilometer, so 75 kilometer per y. Okay, so multiple y, sorry. Then it is $25. The next one is x plus 45 kilometer, 45 kilometer, yes, which is $20, right? Good. Okay, so now I have two equations, two unknown. I check my work, I double check. So maybe, for example, sometimes I see a student instead of 25, for example, they write 30 and they go by with just the wrong number. Okay, so that's why I want you to pay attention. You read the question, that's money problem, value problem. The last sentences give you the idea how to define your variable. Then you write two equations, two unknown, and then from now you are just solving. Okay, so I have x plus 75y equal 25 minus x minus 45y minus 20, because I want to remove them. So I add them now. When I add them, I have 30y equal 5, and y is 5 divided by 30. Oops! Which is 1 over 6. Okay? What is y per kilometer? 1 over 6. $1 over 6. Okay. In reality, when I have $1 over, okay, so $1 over 6. So I would say, okay, I use my calculator and I see it is 0.16 this forever. So 6 is repeating. And maybe I say, okay, 60 cents, or maybe I decide 70 cents. It depends on the taxi. Okay, so for now, yes, I know that's the answer. But I recommend when you want to go by, when you want to continue, so continue with 1 over 6, because here you are rounding. Okay, yes, I know. When you want to answer, you can round it. You can say 17 cents. Okay, and when it comes to money, we always round to two decimal. When it comes to dollar, we always round to two decimal, just two decimal numbers, because I want to just say cents. Okay, so but when I want to continue, I continue with 1 over 6, because I do not want to use my rounded answer, and I told you you always have to round at the end. Okay, so I go with 1 over 6. Okay, so now x plus 75 divided by 6 is 25. So x is, because I did elimination, so I can use any of them. So it's 25. So 75 divided by 6, which is, okay, so x plus 12.5 is 25, and then x is 12.5. Okay, so at the beginning they pay $12.5, right? And then they pay, for example, 70 cents, for example. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so I do this and then I can see if that's correct. So it's 12.5 plus 75, okay, over 6. Yes, it is 20. So it is 12.5 divided by 12 so plus 12.5. Yes, it's 25. And then I have 12.5 plus 45 divided by 6, which is 7.5. So it's 12.5 plus 7.5 is equal 20. Okay, yes, that's correct. Good. Then I can write my I can write my answer. So just I can explain. But remember, here you just say 1 over 6. But when you want to explain in the just explain in the sentence, okay? So you have to just round it. Okay, so you can say it is y is 1 over 6. 1 over 6 is this forever, so you can say it is almost 17 cents. Okay, or you can say it is $0.17. Okay, the same thing. Okay, when you do that, then maybe you have to be careful for x, because here you are rounding, so maybe we have to think about x as well. Okay, so maybe I can say what is x here. So I can say, okay, so 25 minus 75 multiple 0.17. Okay, and I can see x is 12.25. Okay, when I use that, because I'm using 17 cents. Okay, maybe I have to do that. Or maybe you just keep it exact and say, for example, it depends. Maybe I tell you just show me exact number. Maybe I tell you no, round it to cents. Okay, see what happened here. You read the question, you know it's value problem. It's harder than number problem, so before that we had before. So you want to just read the last sentences to write and define your variable. You define your variable, you use information in the question to write two equations. You go by you go by elimination. Then you find the answer. So one of the answers is 1/6. 1/6 is $1 divided by 6. So yes, of course you have a number which is repeated. You remember, for the continue, when you want to continue, use the exact number. Exact number is 1/6. Radical 2, radical 3, for example, pi, they are exact numbers. Okay, when you use your calculator and then you round it, that's rounded answer. Okay, and then find the rest. But at the end, you want to write a sentence. Okay, you would say, okay, I use 17 cents, and let me see if it works. For example, okay, I can find x now. So yes, I said x is $12.5. But when I use 17 cents, then so I have to just be careful with that, because it will be 12.25. And also I can check if it works for the other one. So 12.25 plus 45, multiply this, and I can see what's the answer. So 12.25 plus 45, multiply this, I can see it's 19.9, which is almost 20, and yes, it's good. Okay, so this is 19.9, which is, yes, almost $20, and yes, that's fine. Okay, so this question is very interesting, because when we find the answer here, so it is 1/6, $1 divided by 6. I want you to continue with that number when you want to find x, because that's exact, but at the end you have to round it. So when you round it, then yes, I know you found x equal that, but when you round it, because you round y, so per kilometer, then you have to be careful about x, and that's why x will be this. At the end, you have to you have to say a sentence. So the flat rate, the flat fee is $12.25, and per kilometer, oops, per kilometer you have to pay 0. This dollar. And remember, you need the unit, you need the answer, you need unit, you need sentence, this, or 17 cents. Okay, accepted. Good. Okay, so now I can continue to this mixture problem. So I better stop here. So I would say, okay, so this is video number 2. Yes, and I can continue here. Okay, so I can do the mixture problem, and then I can explain how to approach mixture problem, and then we can do several mixtures, and then we can go to do just practice, which are just mixtures, all mixtures, and then we can finish it. Okay, so thank you for your time, and I just continue on the lesson. Okay, so let me see. I continue on the lesson. So make sure to read the question carefully, understand the type. Then you can just look at the last sentence, define your variables. Then Just estimate the answer, visualize, think about it, define, and just do it. Thank you.